Many people believe that earning six figures means you will become wealthy. But studies and surveys have shown something shocking. A large number of people who earned six figures for years still reached age 40 with less than $10,000 saved. How is that possible? It wasn't because they were careless with money. It wasn't because they bought too many expensive things. And it wasn't because they never worked hard. The real reason is much deeper. Most of them made one money mistake in their 20s. It seemed normal at the time. Almost everyone around them was doing the same thing. But that one mistake quietly followed them for years, making it harder and harder to build real wealth. The worst part? Many never realized it was happening. When people struggle with money, they often blame spending, debt, or a lack of investing knowledge. But those are not always the real problem. The truth is that most people follow a money system that is backwards. Without knowing it, they learn to earn first, spend next, and save whatever is left over. It feels natural. It feels safe. But over time, that simple habit can drain hundreds of thousands of dollars from their future. This video is not about giving up everything you enjoy. It is not about becoming rich overnight. And it is not about learning complicated investment tricks. Instead, you will discover the hidden decision pattern that keeps many high earners stuck, even when their income keeps growing. More importantly, you will learn a simple correction that can completely change the way money flows through your life. By the end of this video, you will not only understand the mistake, you will know exactly how to fix it. Section 1. The mistake we are talking about has a name. It is called lifestyle inflation. The name sounds complex, but the idea is simple. When your income goes up, your spending goes up too. You get a raise, so you move into a bigger apartment. You get a promotion, so you buy a newer car. You earn more money, so you start paying for things that once felt like luxuries. None of these choices seem bad on their own. In fact, they often feel like rewards for hard work. That is why lifestyle inflation is so difficult to notice. It does not arrive like a big financial mistake. It arrives in small upgrades, a little more comfort here, a little more convenience there. A slightly better phone, a slightly nicer vacation, a slightly bigger monthly payment. The changes feel harmless because they happen so slowly. But over time, they create an invisible drain on your future wealth. Imagine that every time your income increased, you spend just $500 more each month on your lifestyle. That may not sound like much. Many people spend that amount without even thinking about it. Now stretch that habit over 15 years. That is $6,000 every year. Over 15 years, that becomes $90,000. Most people stop the math there. But that is not the real cost. The real cost is what that money could have become if it had been invested instead. Money has a powerful ability to grow when given enough time. Each dollar can earn more dollars. Then those dollars can earn even more dollars. This process is called compounding. And compounding rewards people who start early. So the danger is not the extra spending itself. The danger is the lost opportunity. Every dollar that goes into a bigger lifestyle is a dollar that cannot grow for your future. This is why many high earners feel confused. Their income keeps rising, their lifestyle keeps improving. Yet their wealth never seems to grow as fast as they expected. They believe they have a spending problem. But often, the real problem is that every raise was used to upgrade their life instead of building assets. The money did not disappear. It simply never got the chance to multiply. Section 2. At this point, you may be thinking, why do people keep doing this if the cost is so high? The answer is surprising. It is not because people are lazy. It is not because they lack self-control. And it is not because they do not care about their future. The real reason is that our brains are built to adjust to improvement very quickly. When you first get a raise, it feels exciting. You check your bank account and see more money coming in. For a few weeks, it feels like a major change. But then something happens. The new income starts to feel normal. What once felt like extra money now feels like your regular income. This is why many people immediately begin changing their lifestyle after a raise. A better apartment starts to feel reasonable. A newer car starts to feel affordable. More expensive habits begin to feel normal. The brain quickly turns today's luxury into tomorrow's standard. This process is often called hedonic adaptation. The name may sound complicated, but the idea is simple. People get used to good things faster than they expect. What feels special today becomes ordinary tomorrow. And once something feels ordinary, it becomes difficult to go back. Think about your smartphone. The first few days with a new phone feel amazing. The screen is faster, the battery lasts longer, everything feels fresh. But after a few months, it just feels like your phone. The excitement fades and your brain adjusts. The same thing happens with income. A raise creates happiness for a short time. Then the brain adapts and looks for the next upgrade. That is why spending often rises at the same speed as earnings. Without realizing it, people create a lifestyle that requires every dollar of their new income. Soon, the raise that once felt huge no longer feels enough. This is important to understand because it changes the way you see the problem. You do not need to blame yourself. You are not failing because you are weak. You are dealing with a pattern that affects almost everyone. The problem is not your character. The problem is the system most people follow. When every raise automatically leads to higher spending, wealth has very little room to grow. And until that pattern changes, even a larger paycheck can leave you feeling stuck in the same place. The good news is that once you can see the trap, you can finally stop walking into it. Section 3, by now you may think the problem is spending, but spending is only part of the story. The deeper problem is the order in which most people use their money. Think about what happens when a paycheck arrives. For most people, the process looks like this. First, they earn money. Next, they pay bills and spend on daily life. Then, if anything is left over, they save it. At first, this seems reasonable. After all, bills need to be paid. Life costs money. There is nothing wrong with spending on things you need. The problem is what happens at the end of the month. For many people, there is very little left. Sometimes there is nothing left at all. So saving becomes something they plan to do later. Next month, next year, after the next raise, after things become easier. But somehow, that day never arrives. This is why the biggest money mistake is often not a single purchase. It is not the coffee. It is not the vacation. It is not the new phone. The real mistake is following the same money sequence year after year. Earn, spend, save what is left. Because when saving comes last, it usually gets whatever remains. And what remains is often very small. Now compare that to a different sequence. Earn, save first, spend the rest. The difference may seem small, but it changes everything. In this system, saving is no longer an afterthought. It becomes the first bill you pay every month. Before money has a chance to disappear into daily spending, a part of it is already set aside for your future. Then you build your lifestyle around what remains. This simple change creates a powerful result. Instead of spending first and hoping to save later, you save first and spend with confidence. Your future gets paid before your lifestyle gets upgraded. Over time, this creates a gap between what you earn and what you spend. That gap is where wealth is built. Many people wait until they have more money before they start saving seriously. But wealth is rarely created by income alone. It is created by the order in which money moves. The people who build wealth are not always the ones who earn the most. Often, they are the ones who learned one simple rule early in life: save first, spend what is left, and repeat that process for years. Section 4 so far, we have talked about lost opportunities. Now let's put a real number on them. Imagine a person who is 25 years old. Every month, they spend an extra $400 on small lifestyle upgrades. Nothing extreme. Maybe a more expensive apartment, more restaurant meals, extra subscriptions, a car payment that is a little higher than necessary. By itself, $400 does not seem life-changing. Many people spend that amount without giving it much thought. Now imagine that instead of spending that $400 every month, they invested it. Not once, not occasionally, every single month. And let's assume the money grows at an average rate of 8% per year. What happens after 15 years? By age 40, that account could be worth roughly $138. Zero. Take a moment to think about that. Not $100, not $1,000, more than $100,000. And remember, this is not money that was wasted. The person still received value from the things they bought. They enjoyed the nicer apartment. They enjoyed the upgrades. The real cost was something less visible. It was the future value of that money. That is why wealth can be so confusing. Most people only see the price tag. They see the $400 leaving their account today. What they do not see is the $138 zero zone that could have existed years later. This is how small choices become large outcomes. Not overnight, not in a month, but through time. Imagine looking back at age 40 and realizing that one small monthly habit was worth more than a luxury car. That is the power of compounding. And it works in both directions. Money that is invested can grow for you. Money that is spent loses that chance forever. This does not mean you should never enjoy your life. That is not the lesson. The lesson is to understand the true cost of every upgrade. A purchase is never just the amount you pay today. It is also the future growth you give up. Once you begin looking at money this way, your decisions start to change. You stop asking, can I afford this? And you start asking a more powerful question. Is this worth what it could become in the future? That single question has helped many people avoid the six-figure mistake that keeps others stuck. for decades. Section 5, if the solution is so simple, why don't more people follow it? Why don't they save first and spend the rest? The answer has very little to do with math. It has a lot more to do with identity. Most people do not spend money only to buy things. They spend money to become the person they believe they are supposed to be. Think about what often happens after a promotion. A person starts earning more money. Soon after, they begin looking at different apartments, different cars, and different places to shop. Not because they need them, because those things seem to match the new level of success. The spending is not really about the item. It is about what the item says. A nicer car can feel like proof that you are moving forward. A larger home can feel like proof that your hard work is paying off. An expensive dinner can feel like proof that you have made it. Whether we admit it or not, people care about how they are seen. We all want to feel that we belong. We want to feel successful. We want others to see our progress. That is why changing spending habits can feel harder than it looks. Imagine two people earning the same income. One drives a new luxury car, the other drives a reliable used car. One eats out most nights, the other cooks at home. From the outside, many people assume the first person is doing better, but that may not be true at all. The second person may be quietly building wealth every month. Still, it can be difficult to accept that choice. Why? Because the person with the used car may not feel like the person they imagined becoming. They worked hard, they earned more, and now they feel pressure to show it. This is the hidden battle that many people face, not a battle with money, a battle with identity. The truth is that wealth often looks very different from what people expect. Many wealthy people spend years living below their income, not because they are cheap, not because they do not enjoy life, but because they understand something important. Real wealth is not what people see. Real wealth is what you keep. The money in your investment account does not impress strangers. The money growing quietly in the background does not get attention. But over time, it creates freedom. And freedom is worth far more than temporary approval. The moment you stop using money to prove who you are, you give that money a chance to build the future you actually want. Section 6, now we arrive at the most important question. How do you actually fix this problem? Many people think the answer is more discipline. They promise themselves they will spend less. They decide they will save more next month. They make a budget and try to follow it perfectly. Sometimes it works for a few weeks. Then life gets busy. An unexpected expense appears. A tempting purchase comes along, and slowly old habits return. That is because willpower is not a reliable system. Willpower comes and goes. Some days you have a lot of it. Some days you have very little. The people who build wealth understand something important. They do not depend on willpower. They depend on systems. The best solution is to remove the decision completely. Instead of choosing to save every month, make saving happen automatically. Imagine your paycheck arrives on Friday. Before you have time to spend anything, a portion of that money is automatically moved into a savings or investment account. You do not need to remember. You do not need to make a decision. The system does it for you. Now the sequence changes naturally. You earn, you save, then you spend what remains. This simple setup can completely change your financial future. Many employers also offer retirement or investment plans that allow money to be taken directly from your paycheck before it reaches your bank account. This can be powerful because the money is invested before you even see it. You never have the chance to spend it. Another helpful step is creating separate accounts for different purposes. One account for bills, one account for spending, one account for savings or investing. When money has a clear destination, it becomes harder to use it for the wrong purpose. Think of it like setting up guardrails on a road. The guardrails do not make you a better driver. They simply make it easier to stay on the right path. That is exactly what a good money system does. It makes the right choice the default choice. Over time, this creates a surprising result. You stop feeling like you are forcing yourself to save. You stop relying on motivation. Instead, wealth begins growing quietly in the background month after month. And because the process is automatic, it continues even when life gets busy. The goal is not to become perfect. The goal is to build a system that works even when you are not thinking about it. That is when saving stops being a struggle and starts becoming a habit. Section 7, at this point, some people may be feeling discouraged. Maybe you are in your 30s, maybe you are already 35, 40, or even older. You may be thinking, I wish I had started earlier. That feeling is completely normal, but do not let it stop you. Yes, starting early is powerful, but starting late is still far better than never starting at all. The biggest mistake is not being behind. The biggest mistake is believing that being behind means there is no point trying. Let's look at a simple example. Imagine someone is 35 years old. They decide to make one change. Instead of allowing an extra $600 each month to disappear into lifestyle upgrades, they redirect it into investments. Nothing dramatic, no extreme budget, no working every weekend, just one intentional change. Now imagine they continue doing this every month until age 55. That is 20 years of consistent investing. If that money grows at an average rate of 8% per year, it could grow to roughly $350,000. Think about that for a moment. A decision made at age 35 could still create hundreds of thousands of dollars by age 55. That is why it is dangerous to focus only on what you missed. The past cannot be changed. The money already spent is gone, but the next paycheck has not arrived yet. The next month has not happened yet. Your future is still being written. Many people spend years feeling guilty about financial mistakes. They replay old decisions in their minds. They think about the investments they never made, the opportunities they missed, the years they lost, but guilt does not grow money, action does. The good news is that the same force that worked against you can begin working for you. Compounding does not care when you learn the lesson. It only cares when you start. The moment you begin saving and investing consistently, you give your money a chance to grow. Will your results be the same as someone who started at 25? No, but that is not the question that matters. The question is this: will your future be better if you start today than if you wait another 5 years? The answer is always yes. So if you are watching this in your 30s or beyond, do not see this video as a reminder of what you lost. See it as proof that the door is still open. Because wealth is not built by starting perfectly. It is built by starting and then continuing 1 month at a time. Section 8. Let's go back to the surprising number we started with. Many people who earned 6 figures for years still reach age 40 with less than $10. Feels unsaved. At first, that number seems impossible. How can someone earn so much and still have so little? Now you know the answer. It was not usually one terrible purchase. It was not a lack of intelligence. And it was not because they never worked hard. The real problem was a sequence that quietly repeated itself year after year. They earned more. They spent more. They saved whatever was left. Then lifestyle inflation slowly took over. Each raise brought a bigger lifestyle. Each upgrade reduced the amount available for future growth. And because the changes happened little by little, the cost remained invisible. The money was not lost all at once. It disappeared one small decision at a time. But the good news is that the same process can work in your favor. You do not need to completely change your life today. You do not need a huge raise, and you do not need perfect discipline. You only need to make one small change, one decision, one system. Maybe that means setting up an automatic transfer from your checking account into an investment account. Maybe it means increasing your retirement contribution by just 1%. Maybe it means deciding that part of every future raise will go toward building wealth before it goes toward upgrading your lifestyle. The exact amount is not the most important part. The habit is, because every month that money is invested, it begins working for you. Every month it stays invested, compounding gets a little stronger. And over time, small actions can create results that seem impossible today. Remember, wealth is rarely built through one big decision. It is built through small decisions repeated for many years. The people who succeed are not always the highest earners. They are often the people who created a system and trusted it to work. So when this video ends, do not focus on what you should have done years ago. Focus on the next step you can take today. Because your future wealth will not be decided by your last paycheck. It will be decided by what you do with the next one. And if you want to see the exact account setup I would use to make this process automatic, watch this next.